Hello everyone. So let's have a closer look now at the syllabus. Here we are on the Blackboard homepage, and you can access the syllabus simply by clicking on this link. So a syllabus, for those of you who aren't familiar with the term or the idea of the syllabus, is sort of like a contract that outlines what the work you're going to be doing this semester is, a lot of the sort of technical and administrative details surrounding the course. So we'll have a fairly detailed look through this document. It's only 3 pages long, and much of it you'll be familiar with already. The contact info is the same as on the Blackboard homepage. I like to start off each one of my courses and each one of my syllabuses or syllabi with a territorial acknowledgement. And this is simply to acknowledge the fact that we are all living and working and going to school on territories that traditionally belong to a whole host of First Nations groups. The college's area of influence covers some 80,000 square kilometers and is home to the traditional territories of 35 different First Nations people. And it's really important that we recognize that as an institution, as an educational institution, not only in our day-to-day lives outside of school, but as an educational institution, because we're all hopefully familiar with the devastating legacy of residential school systems and with the colonizing forces that have traditionally been part of education. And so as we work into truth and reconciliation with many of our First Nations partners and with many of the First Nations within these territories, we need to be really careful about acknowledging the fact that we are on land that is the traditional home of those people. Do let me know if you have any questions or concerns about this. I'm happy to talk more about it. And it's something we need to keep in mind daily, not only within an educational institution, but in our day-to-day work lives and outside of work and school. The course description for English 115 is taken directly from the calendar. I didn't have anything to do with writing this, but I think it does provide some good information about what the general goal of the course is. It's preparing you to do other courses at university level. So university level analysis and writing. The course is organized specifically around constructing strong argumentative thesis statements and then supporting those thesis statements through careful scholarly research and then documenting that research as well in the writing of the papers. Next comes a list of assignments and the various weights of each one and some of the details about word count and that sort of thing. If you haven't yet, you'll definitely want to look through the assignment information documents on Blackboard. Each document describes in more detail what I'm expecting from you for each one of these assignments. Also have a look at the general assignment info document. Does things like explain layout and uploading processes and that sort of thing. Excuse me. Assignments are due by the start of class on the day specified. So since we don't have an actual specific meeting day in the week, just go with the day that I've noted as a due date and have it in before midnight on that day. Do let me know if you're having trouble with meeting any of the deadlines. I know that people have other things going on in their lives and that other things come up, and so we can be a bit flexible to work around deadlines for this course. Now, that's not to say that everyone gets extensions all the time. Just let me know if, ahead of time if things are becoming difficult, and we can start to figure out something that works for you. We talked a little bit about the textbook in previous announcements. Becoming Active Readers, our textbook, the second edition, you can access that in or get a copy of that in a couple of different ways, by stopping by one of the bookstores or by phoning in and having it delivered right to your doorstep. A bunch of other resources. Do chat with me during office hours. I'm excited about the possibilities of Chatzy, this online instant messaging forum, so we'll set that up and have a look at that. It might work, I'm not sure. If you do happen to be around Courtney campus on Fridays, I'm generally here, so send me a note. We can have a meet if that would be useful. The class YouTube channel where I'm going to post all these videos. The NIC Library and Learning Commons is also a really fantastic resource for writing and research help. They also do math help if you happen to be taking some math courses. They set up peer tutoring and they have a bunch of services. So do check out that website, or if you're on one of the campuses, stop by and talk to the Learning Commons people. Right Away is another fantastic resource. This is a province-wide online tutoring program. And so the way this works is that you're working on an assignment and you want some feedback on it. You upload it to Right Away, and tutors from around the province will be available to have a look at your work. So you'll upload, say, a draft of your research essay with some information about the assignment requirements and also some information about what you'd like help on. So maybe you're struggling with formulating a strong thesis statement, let the tutor know that. The tutors will have about 30 to 40 minutes per submission, so they'll download your document and give you a bunch of feedback on what they think is working, but also what you could improve on. It takes a couple of days usually to get that feedback, but it can be really valuable. There's no possible way that I could spend 30 or even 30 or 40 minutes going through every student's assignment, but this free online service does allow for that. So do have a look at Right Away. You can use it for all your courses as a NIC student, and you can submit each assignment up to 3 times. So you can get some really fantastic feedback from really great tutors around the province. Here's a link to just important NIC dates, add drop deadlines, things like that. Student Technical Services has information about the various apps that you can download to your smart devices for accessing material remotely or through mobile devices. It also has information about downloading Microsoft Office. As NIC students, you get free access to Microsoft Office for Mac or PC, so if you need that, have a look there. A few class policies, check your NIC email. I use the email a lot. I use the course Blackboard site for submitting assignments, participating in weekly discussions, and reading the sample assignments, and learning about the individual assignments, all things that I mentioned in the previous video. The schedule readings below and on the Blackboard are a general outline for the course. As I mentioned before, I recommend that you follow this, but we don't have strictly scheduled meetings. So work through it at your own pace, but keeping in mind the deadlines for the assignments. The thing that I take most seriously in any course is this final note about class policies. There's zero tolerance of homophobic, sexist, racist, transphobic, bigoted, or otherwise hateful or intolerant language in this class. This class is a safe space for the serious contemplation of any and all issues concerning humanity. I've never had a problem with this in any of my classes. If you feel like you're going to create a problem of this nature, perhaps just remove yourself from the class so that I don't have to kick you out for any of this. It's simply not acceptable in our class and within our current society. The evaluation is a pretty standard NIC letter grade system, percentages, letter grades. Let me know if you have questions about any of that, but it's fairly standard. The final exams were 30% of the course grade. I don't know exactly how it works as distance students for setting up the exams, but I assume that much of that is up to you. That's something I should know, so I'll figure it out, and we'll have more concrete information as the exam date looms. It's not for several months. Academic honesty is also really important, right? Don't plagiarize, don't cheat. The first assignment, the plagiarism assignment, is carefully organized to make sure that we all are on the same page as far as plagiarism and academic honesty. If you want to see the code of conduct, have a look at that link there. There's useful information about what's expected of you as a student. The disability statement is also something I take enormously seriously. There should be no barriers to education for people with various types of abilities. So if you feel like things are getting in the way of your education, there are systems in place to help you negotiate those challenges. You can talk to ASD or send me an email and we'll figure out how to get you the help you need. It's really important that we recognize that there shouldn't be any kind of stigma around getting accommodations for people who have varying types of abilities. Right? We just work through that. It's fine. We can be flexible with things. We'll make things work. Here's the outline again. We did have a quick look at this in the previous video, and it's the same information as provided in the recommended schedule on Blackboard. This lays out sort of visually the semester and the assignment due dates and the presentation dates. The one thing I didn't mention is this enormous spring break that takes up almost the entire month of March. This is because we're working across several school districts, and conveniently they've scheduled their spring breaks for different times. And so the college has got around this problem by putting a 3-week break in our class. Because we're an online class, it actually doesn't affect us enormously. It just means we don't have anything officially due during those 3 weeks. It gives you an opportunity to really get going on your research. As you'll see, the annotated bibliography is due the day you get back from the week you get back from that long break. So do use that time wisely. It's not just an entire 3 weeks off. Have a look through this info if you haven't already, and let me know if you have any other questions.